Hey everyone, it's Mike with It's Pittsfield Tonight. I'm going to jump right into it. And I want to start on a topic that I have discussed now for several weeks. And it basically ties directly into tax rates for property owners in the city of Pittsfield. So many of you remember during a council meeting, one or two council meetings ago, they were discussing approving the mayor's tax rate for residential and commercial properties, which the mayor actually lowered the tax rate. But due to hyperinflation, everyone can expect to see as much as a 5% increase on average for your property taxes. And some of the councilors, I think a couple of them, were proponents of the mayor taking an additional $1 million out of the free cash account and using that to offset this big increase that everyone's going to see due to hyperinflated values. And the mayor, along with some of our councilors like Earl Persip, Pete White, those two stick out to me on this one. Helen Moon, were saying that it was just a show that some of the councilors were putting on for attention, that this is a good thing. People built equity in their properties. Everything was wonderful, that this was better for everyone in the long run, and they were just putting on a show. That bothered me because myself, I was a big proponent of the city taking additional money. I would have liked to see more than $1 million. $1 million to $2 million out of the free cash account to offset that. And I get that that's not something you can do on a regular basis. But due to the unusual circumstances that the country has been in, and due to hyperinflation directly related to the housing market, I felt it was important to do that at that time, knowing that when you see an increase as much as 20% or more on properties, that is not organic growth, meaning it wasn't due to a new company moving into the area or growth in the city that organically raised the values of houses. It was due to hyperinflation. And it's pretty simple how that happened. There's no mystery of how that happened. There's a housing shortage, and the feds have kept rates down. So it made that market so competitive that you could basically get whatever you wanted for your house. Not whatever you wanted, but people were getting asking values with no haggling, and some above that. The new housing market was hurting due to, again, inflation and the supply chain disruption. It made the costs of new home construction so high that the pre-existing housing market became more desirable. Well, I said, and if those of you that follow me regularly know the past couple months, I kept saying that we should be taking the money out of free cash account. This is not true growth. Don't listen to some of these councilors who are telling you you just gained on average $18,000 of equity in your home or something. Absolute ridiculousness, because I said as soon as the feds raise rates and start acknowledging this, you're going to see those hyperinflated costs come down, and the pre-existing housing market will become more competitive, and that's what will cause the hyperinflation to start to ease back, and rates will go up, which will make it a little bit harder to get a loan. They'll tighten up on how banks will tighten up on how they loan money. Well, as should be no surprise to anybody, Jay Powell, the chairman of the Fed, did announce that they're easing back, they're doubling back on their asset purchases. So what that is, it's a form of QE, quantitative easing. And the feds have purchased bonds. Basically, what that does is it stimulates the economy by keeping rates down. And they announced that they would be tapering on the bond purchasing, on asset purchasing, and doubling it from $15 billion to $30 billion a month. So, and then by the beginning of the second quarter, expect rate hikes also. So we're most economists are predicting in 2022 3 rate hikes. So again, that value that you were told by like Councilor Persip or Councilor Moon or Councilor White, that how great this is and you earned all this equity in your home, or the mayor who told you you earned all this equity in your home, all they did is they artificially inflated and raised the levy ceiling. Those housing values are going to come down, and don't be surprised if they're already starting to come down. Already. For the reasons that I just stated. And as no surprise to anybody, this happened. The feds are acting quicker than some predicted. And it is what it is. Inflation has to be dealt with, and that's one of the things that people were talking about for the past year. We knew that we were coming to this. So the Federal Reserve is going to address it sooner than later. So again, they've already made an announcement that they will be easing on asset purchases and tapering that to $30 billion a month. And then by the beginning of the second quarter, as soon as April 1st, you can expect to see a first rate increase. And there you go. So that equity that you were told you earned, don't be surprised if that goes away. You're just paying additional money to the city in taxes for a value that won't be there. It was just there for a short period of time. And the only way you earned equity out of that is if you sold your home and moved out of the area. But then again, this housing shortage is national, so you would have to purchase another property or rent, and those are hyperinflated. So you didn't earn anything. You didn't earn a penny. You're just paying more money to the city. And that's why I felt that this was a time to take additional money out of the free cash account and use it. That's what it's there for. Free cash is not free. It's surplus revenue from the previous fiscal year. It's your money that you paid in taxes. And I believe that free cash account is somewhere between 10 and 11 million right now. I believe. So anyway, as no surprise, that's happening. And somebody had sent me a message saying, well, the economy's not so simple. I didn't pull this out of the air. I follow the market religiously and have going back to when I was a little kid when Greenspan was in there. But, I get my information from the Wall Street Journal, from Fortune, from Forbes. I like Jim Cramer a lot. I compile from a bunch of different sources. I follow a lot of CEOs and hedge managers, and you look at what's out there and you follow the market, and it's not a simple read by any stretch of the imagination, and anything can trigger it. If I knew the market that well, I'd be a wealthy person. But anyway, that's what's happening. I also mentioned that don't expect fuel costs to go down as far as oil, and don't. Oil's going to hold most likely through 2022 between $70 and $80 a barrel. So that correlates to expect to see $3 to $3.50, and if it hits over that $80 mark, more, heading closer to the $4 mark per gallon for gasoline. That's where we're at. Don't expect to see fuel costs to lower till maybe second or third quarter 2023. And that's what most people in the industry are saying. Yes, there are things that can trigger that. We've seen fuel go all over the place as oil, and that's based off of demand. So when you had travel bans, or during the height of this insane time we're in the country or in the world, you saw less consumption, more the surplus was building up, and it held the costs down. But there's so many other factors in that, and so don't expect to see that cost going anywhere. And as far as oil coming out of the reserves, I forget what it was, 50 million barrels, that's a day and a half to 2 days worth of use. So that's come and gone. That really did nothing, absolutely nothing. So anyways, that's where we're at. So check your home values. Check them monthly and watch. You're going to see that. And the problem is, now that you're seeing the Feds tapering on asset purchases, you're going to see rate increases, which will tighten up on how people get mortgages and borrow, which will make the housing market more competitive, which will reduce the costs of the pre-existing homes. And the bad part about that is you're going to see rentals on the other end of it going up even more. So that's another thing I want to talk about, and I'm going to do that in another video, about our opportunity zones in Pittsfield. And should we be giving, CPA money and different funding, TIFs and all that to developers who are setting these market rates for certain neighborhoods, and also that they're taking advantage of the opportunity zones, which I believe they have till December 31st of this year, where they're being able to avoid capital gains tax and taxes on the profit for life. So I don't know. That's one. It's a tricky one, but I'm going to dig deep into that. So that's it on that. I hate to say I was right, but guess what? I was right, to the people who said I was completely wrong. And again, I didn't pull that information out of the air. I did my homework, as our counselors should have. It was irresponsible for any of them to come out there and tell you that that was just a show put on by other counselors and you earned all this equity in your home. That was absolute, complete nonsense. Who maybe they did pull that out of the air. I don't know. But you didn't. And that's the reality. So pay attention to the market if you can. I have decided I want to add a financial segment, either bi-weekly or weekly. I've reached out to a couple different people that deal in finance. That's what they do for a living. And I'm waiting for some responses from a few more. I do have a couple that are interested in doing a segment weekly, probably a Sunday show that I would do. I think people need more information on that. Anybody who's going out there and buying lottery tickets or scratch tickets, you should be invested in the stock market. If you're going to gamble, it's a much better way to do it, and you can make a lot more money. And, of course, you're supporting your country, you're supporting the economy. So that's it on that. The business tour I've been doing, that is continuing. If you haven't checked out the videos I've already done for this winter business tour is what I'm calling it. RJ Store, Diamonds and Fine Jewelry, Pittsfield Rye Bakery, oh my goodness, Designer Consigner, which is in the Allendale Underground, Car Hardware, ATW Accounting, and I have some more coming up this week. Currency Coffee, Kidding Around Consignment on North Street, New England Dynamart Security. I have to schedule with them. I had something scheduled and then something came up, and unfortunately I missed that. And there's a few more. So I'll be continuing with that. I've got more videos I'm doing today. And I'll have later on this afternoon, Amanda, the owner of Kidding Around Consignment, I'll be putting that out. Anyways, that's exciting. I love doing those. I really do. I love going into the businesses. I love seeing what they do and what they offer. And supporting our local businesses is supporting Pittsfield. That's the best way you can give back, is you shop local, you spend your money local. Just yesterday when I was in Car Hardware, talking to Bart Razor, I saw two other owners of other businesses in Pittsfield in there. I saw other people that I recognized. It's a good feeling when you shop local and you participate local. All that money just recirculates back into the local economy, and it grows Pittsfield. And like I said, these businesses, they give so much back to the community through charities and donations, and they really do. So shop local, support local. It's crucial. And the GoFundMe for the page, I've got that still up and going. I'll put that in the comment section of this video. To all of you that have donated, I can't thank you enough. It helps me continue this platform and continue doing this work. I do 2 of those a year, winter and summer. So if you can, any bit helps. $5, $10, anything you can give is a huge help to continuing the page. So yeah, there's that. And I guess that's it for now. We had some beautiful weather, but the temperature is slowly turning the other way, and it looks like we've got a little bit of snow on the way, but hey, we're just a week away from winter. So I believe December 22nd is the first day of winter. So that is it for now. I'll have some more videos out with businesses as we continue later on today and throughout the weekend. Everyone stay safe, stay warm, and like the page if you haven't already. Subscribe on YouTube, and if you can, help out with the GoFundMe. It's a big help, and I'll catch you all tomorrow.